From the studios of Tucson Business RadioX, recorded in the Stewart Title corporate offices on Broadway, you are now listening to The Mark Bishop Show. And now here's your host, Mark Bishop.
My guest is Michelle Armour, Chief what am I talking about? Chief People Officer for CareerBuilder. Wonderful company, certainly not the police, but for this podcast, she's a career expert on networking opportunities and how to position yourself for employment in an ever-changing market. Welcome, Michelle.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me today.
Okay. All right. Now, for those just graduating college, there's no doubt that the job search process will be a lot different than it's been in the past. Now, the number of Americans filing for unemployment benefits has skyrocketed. More than 6.6 million U.S. workers filed new claims for unemployment benefits last week alone, and on top of 3.3 million a week earlier. Now, marking unprecedented devastation across the labor market. Michelle, which industries are hiring the most right now, and for what sort of positions?
Sure. We're looking at it in a couple different ways. First, what industries are more or less keeping pace with their previous averages. And the finance and insurance industry is one that only has had a slight decrease in the number of openings. And then the warehouse, manufacturing, and sales verticals are continuing to hire for management and specialty roles. But the rest of the industries have really declined, ranging from about 16% for administrative support, waste management, and remediation services, all the way up to a 53% decline in the arts, entertainment, and recreation sector. So we are seeing massive decline in the number of job openings available.
Well, can we narrow it down? What skill sets are most valuable at the moment, do you think?
Well, I think, there are certainly a lot of organizations that are still hiring for a variety of positions, but for those college graduates that are just entering the labor market and may have a very specific idea about the role and the industry they were targeting, what they really need is an adaptability right now. And that adaptability will allow them to gain experiences and gain soft skills to add to their resumes. And even pre-COVID, we were seeing quite a significant increase in the emphasis that organizations were putting on soft skills like customer service, teamwork, and critical thinking skills. So really the best strategy for those that are currently unemployed or are just entering the labor market is to figure out where they can gain more of those soft skills and experiences, and then make sure that they adequately transfer and sell those additional experiences on their resumes so that when the labor market opens up again, they are poised to get those opportunities that they initially targeted.
Well, it almost sounds like, and what comes to mind for me in this particular case with what you were just saying, is perhaps more students need to get out into the workforce long before they graduate and really understand what business is all about in various roles. What do you think of that?
Absolutely. It gives them an edge.
So how can college grads still network, do you think, and continue to build relationships?
Well, just like a lot of organizations right now are very focused on culture, and a lot of those organizations have shifted from having an in-the-office culture to a remote workplace culture. And we're seeing the networking opportunities shift right along with that. So instead of in-person happy hours, there's a virtual happy hour and virtual, networking opportunities available for specific industries or professional associations and organizations are offering these events for free. So I would certainly encourage those new college graduates to take advantage of those events to build their current networks and then utilize those networks to find out about new opportunities.
You're with Mark Bishop, and my special guest is Michelle Armour, Chief People Officer for CareerBuilder. What lessons do you think, Catherine, can be learned from college grads, college grads who entered the workforce during previous economic downturns? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, some of the studies that have been done about those college graduates did find that the new grads that were willing to take any job and get their foot in the door wound up outpacing those that held off on employment until the perfect opportunity came along.
Right.
So just like we were saying, any kind of work experience is positive, and it's all about being adaptable, open to different types of educational opportunities, and working through your resume to ensure that you're capturing all of the skills you have available to make yourself as marketable as possible.
And by the way, listeners, you can read a lot with reference to what Michelle is sharing with us on www.CareerBuilder.com, right? CareerBuilder.com. How about some tips for making connections, Michelle? Do you feel up to that?
Absolutely. So, job seekers should, and new college graduates should take a look at their social media accounts and ensure that they've shifted those from being, personal and fun and maybe just for connections with their friends to reflect their professional brand, and maybe have a deeper opportunity to explain their purpose, their mission in life, the things that they're passionate about. And that will allow them to connect with a variety of people in their network and find common interests.
Okay. So you're suggesting also to build a strong resume that highlights skills in addition to experience. So those skills, really what you're saying is those skills can be transferred and leveraged to appeal to a different industry.
Soft skills certainly can, and I think it also demonstrates to an employer that you have that grit and ability to, dig in and be very resilient when the going gets tough. And now is one of those times.
And when you talk about utilizing your personal network and the power of social media, that wasn't around, in my day anyway. But today it can be, done correctly, as you're suggesting, a very powerful tool.
It is. It's a great tool. It also has really allowed us to, in a lot of cases, change the way that we work. People are working remotely. You have teams connecting from all over the globe. And I do think that college graduates have a bit of an advantage in that they're simply more familiar with a lot of this technology, and they're more familiar with putting themselves out there in, on video and forming those connections online.
What about signing up for virtual career fairs and professional industry, specific virtual happy hours? Well, you did touch on the happy hour part of it, but are there virtual career fairs going on?
Happy hour is always a priority for me. So, through networking on social media, through professional associations, and just Googling virtual events, these college grads can find opportunities to form connections and seek different opportunities. So between, being adaptable, trying new things, gaining experiences, making sure that they have a strong resume, and forming those connections, hopefully they'll be able to quickly and productively enter the workforce.
Well, you've seen a few things. You're a 20-year veteran in this space, in the HR space.
Correct.
You've probably seen a lot of changes over the years. You've led the talent team. Interesting title, Chief People Officer at CareerBuilder. It's an interesting one.
Yeah.
focus on building a high-performance culture as one of your things I've read about you. You support business goals, employees, professional development, and diversity. But your passion for engaging employees in developing positive work environments. Do you think that's changing dramatically these days? I mean, look, you see something with a Google or some nerdy type company and they're running around on two wheels and playing table tennis and God knows what, sitting around in those chairs or what beanbags we used to call them. Yeah, beanbags. Dear idea.
Sure. I think that over time, we've seen people's attitudes about work evolving, and that's caused companies to have to shift in order to compete for that top talent. And that's been fascinating to watch over the years. I've really enjoyed seeing work become more purpose-driven and companies really seeking to connect the day-to-day work that people perform to something meaningful. And that helps drive performance and engagement. And I think that, as sobering and scary as it is right now in this pandemic, as worried as I am about health and safety in the global economy, at the same time, I think that we do have an opportunity to find the positive. And that means, potentially being more global in our views, in, shifting some of our work to be remote so that people have a better work-life integration and better work-life balance, and just really taking a little bit of a reset on how we view employment.
There you go. It should be fun as well as doing the job. But gee, what a concept, being happy at work. Tell you what.
It's important.
My word, it is.
So much of our lives, and, you can make it fun or not fun. And
well, it is. I forget the hours. I forget the hours off the top, Michelle, but it's astronomical hours we spend in a lifetime at a work environment. So between sleeping and the work environment, it's up there as far as those hours are concerned that our life whittles away. So, yeah, why not enjoy it and have fun doing it? Well, you've been a terrific guest. Thank you, Michelle Armour, Chief People Officer for CareerBuilder, one of the biggest. They've been around for donkey's years. And go to their site again. It's CareerBuilder.com. You can read a lot of stuff going on. Maybe you've got a granddaughter, a daughter, whatever you'd like to, or son for that matter, grandson, that they can learn a lot on your site there, I think, can't they?
Yes. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome, Michelle. Thank you. Have a wonderful week. Goodbye now.
Bye-bye.